human perspective.
Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you so much for joining. This is the Friday night love stream. We're doing a little bit early tonight, and I'm going to have Biker Babe on in just a second. I wanted to present a Mandela effect while we're waiting for people to hop in, and I want to thank Propagate Light for bringing this to me, aka Meta, because when I saw this, I was I was blown away because I remember when she first came out as an artist years ago, I remembered the connection with her name and the term menage a trois and thought, oh, she just did that on purpose, right? So let me pull up my screen and show you. I know a lot of people probably don't know who she is. She hasn't been around forever or anything, but now her name is spelled M-I-N-A-J, and I don't know, so you can chime in below and let me know what you remember, because when I did the quotes on her name, it did pull up this Broadway World, where it talks about some of the credits, and it does have her name spelled the way I remember it. Just doing a quick, and that's, you see how I thought her name came from that. And, okay, so you can chime in the chat and in the comments below later and let me know what you remember with Nicki Minaj. Okay, let me switch the screen back. Okay, and I want to bring in Biker Babe. Biker Babe, are you there?
I am here.
Awesome. Okay, I'm so glad we got you in this week. We were going to have you in last week, but you got tied up or whatever. So you had an interesting story. You want to share it? I'll let you take the wheel here.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Nice to be on again. I've missed a few weeks. I've been just terribly busy this summer, but I have a real interesting, what you'd call, I'm guessing, maybe time folding onto itself. So if you got a pen and paper, or if you got a really good memory, write this down. Okay. So I bought my first motorcycle, and you know how it is when you buy a vehicle, and it is the love of your life, and you remember everything about it. You remember what year it is, you remember what you paid for it, and you just remember everything about it. It's the love of your life. And so I had bought my first motorcycle, and it was an 05 883 Sportster, an 05, and it was 3 years old. It was a used motorcycle. And I rode that motorcycle for 2 years, and I sold it to one of my girlfriends, and I bought an 05 Fat Boy, a much bigger motorcycle. I found that the little motorcycle was just no good for traveling, and so I needed something that was big enough to get up on the freeway, and I'm not getting blown all over the place, because an 883 is a pretty small motorcycle. So I bought the 05 Fat Boy, and it was 3 years old. Anybody catch that?
Yes, the years aren't lining up, are they?
Okay, I bought an 05 Sportster. It was 3 years old. I rode it for 2 years, and then I bought an 05 Fat Boy, and it was 3 years old, and I rode that for 2 years before I lost my job in 2009.
Oh.
So if anybody can figure that one out. So, I mean, I would have had to have owned both motorcycles at the same time.
So there's an extra 4 years in there, right?
Yeah. Yes. So if anybody can figure that one out, to this day, I don't have a clue. I laid there in bed in the middle of the night and counted on my fingers the years back, and it was almost like my brain was blocked. Like, like somebody was trying to hide the time frame from me or something. I don't know what would cause that? Maybe I wonder if Michelle Wolf would have an idea on what's going on there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll have to talk to her about that.
Yeah.
So that's
And
really
so-
interesting. So I want to know if anybody else has had any sort of things not line up like that either when you think about time, because that was the one with the Challenger that I had. I'm like, wait a minute. Now I ended up realizing that I counted back wrong, because you know how like I counted back to the grade I was in from the year I graduated in the class of year, but you actually graduate the year after your class of year, because it goes off the first year you start the year or something like that. So I did make a mistake with that, but other people said that the Challenger incident didn't line up with how they remember. In the same way with Elvis, when he died or whatever. I remember being like 3 or 4 when he died, but other people remember him dying before I was even born, which is in 74. So
Yeah.
a lot of strange things with time going on. It's mind blowing.
Right. And it's like I wrapped 4 years into a matter of 2 years. To me, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah,
But-
that's wild. So they were both the same age when you bought them. So it would seem like you got them both in '08, and then rode them for
Right.
2 years.
Yeah, so even if I had bought both the motorcycles at the same time and rode them both for 2 years, the time still doesn't add up,
Right. That's
because
true.
it would
That
only
would've
be
been 10.
2009. Yeah.
Right. That's
So
trippy.
it's creepy.
That is wild. Yeah, how do you explain that? Are you remembering 2 alternative lives you lived in?
That's right. That's what I was thinking, was that maybe it was 2 different dimensions. I was living 2 different lives. I just can't imagine what it could be. I see somebody said something about time is not linear. We only experience it that way. It's crazy.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. When you look through, say, your pictures or whatever, do you see that you've owned them both? Or?
Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I was going to send you pictures.
Right, because you said your girlfriend bought one of them, right? So does she still have it, or?
That's the strangest thing ever, is that that's the only picture I have of that first motorcycle is the picture of when she bought it.
Oh.
Any pictures previous to that they're gone. I have no idea what happened to them.
Oh,
But
wow.
but yeah, I do have pictures. Let me see if I can send you. And I was unsure if I should send you the picture of her on the motorcycle, but I don't think that anybody could recognize it. Okay, so images, come on, computer. Okay, so I'm going to send you this first one. Okay, where's my email? Email. I got 2 different emails, and I email stuff to myself all the time.
Yeah, I do that too, from one computer to the next. They're sitting right next to each other, but it's the easiest way to get something from one to the other.
Okay, so here's the picture of the Sportster. And this was the year I sold it. And it says 2009 that I sold it. Which there's no way it could possibly be, because I had been riding that motorcycle for 2 years, and it should have been 2010. Come on, computer. All right, there it goes. And then the second one. I'm struggling a little bit with this computer.
Oh, no problem. Okay, I got the first picture. Let me pull it up here.
All right, and I'm going to send you the second one.
All right, so that's the first picture.
Yeah, that's the Sportster, and that one is the one that I sold. And it says I sold it in 2009, but there's no pictures previous to it, and that's the girl that bought it. And then
It's wild.
So I sent you the second picture, and that one is me actually with the fat boy after I sold the sports girl.
Okay, waiting on the other image to come in.
And you can see that they're, two totally different bikes. And another strange thing is that the Fat Boy is actually what they consider an anniversary edition, and it's a 2005, and that shouldn't have been an anniversary. 2003 would have been an anniversary.
Oh, that's pretty wild.
So,
nice.
I don't know, I think our whole reality is
That's
going
crazy.
tits up, excuse my French.
Yeah, that's really wild. So at least you do have a picture of both of them, I mean, although it does seem like you're missing some.
Yeah, I'm missing all of the everything to do with the first bike, but I did contact the girl that bought it from me, and she verified everything.
Wow.
So she verified the year of it and buying it, and she had sold it here recently too. So it's almost like that thing just is out of our reality now.
Wow. Now, does she remember buying it in 10?
Yes, she does. Or it would have been 2009, actually.
Right, but it should have been 2010, actually, right?
Right, correct.
Oh, okay, yeah, I just had it backwards. So that's really wild. Now I wonder if when she sold it, if she remembered seeing the date on it. So she saw it was 09. That's just weird. It's like, where did that year go? I feel like that all the time. Like, where did this year go?
Actually, and it's 2 years. It would be 2 years because I rode that motorcycle for 2 years. So it was an 05, and it was 3 years old when I bought it.
Yeah.
So it would have been 08, and so I rode it for 2 years, which would have made it 2010.
Right,
but
actually
I sold
the
it
end of it.
And I sold it in 2009, so how could that be?
That's so wild.
Isn't that crazy?
So, yeah, I've been hearing more and more stories about time stuff like this happening, and I think it's going to continue on, don't you?
I think so, too. I'm hoping to gain back a couple of those years. That would be really nice.
Yeah.
I could use a little more riding time, I know that.
Totally, yeah. Just maybe the summers, right? Give me a couple
right?
of summers back.
Okay, so now I've got a ghost story for you guys. You want to hear a ghost story?
Oh, I love ghost stories, yes.
Okay, this one is, well, you know how I think I said that before, where you think you believe in something, but you really don't until you've actually lived it.
Yeah.
And I always thought that I believed in ghosts. And I was getting a divorce. And I rented a house. I moved out and rented a house right on Lake Superior, probably about a mile from where my old house was. And so I moved into this house, and I remember my son coming home from school. He was about 12 years old at the time. And he said, Ma, did you know that this house is haunted? And I just laughed it off. I'm like, no, I didn't want anybody scaring him because, with the two of us just being there by ourselves.
Right.
It was a 3-bedroom house. And not long after I moved in, I heard a story about the owner who actually had bought the house not that long ago. And he drove by the house one night. He was just kind of checking on it, and he noticed the basement lights on. So he unlocked the doors, went in, turned the basement lights off, went back out, and the next night drove by again and saw that the basement lights were on again. So he went back in, and this time he not only shut the lights off, he unscrewed the light bulb.
Oh, boy.
And so, so the third night he drove by, and he said the lights were on again. And he went down, and this time he hit the power switch. He hit the breaker to shut it off. And the next night when he drove by and he saw the lights were on, he wouldn't even stop. He was too scared.
Oh, my God. That is pretty freaky.
No, so that isn't even the worst of it. So I was living in this house, and, I had heard all the rumors, and you know, it was the cutest little house you've ever seen. There was 2 bedrooms upstairs, a full bathroom, and there was another bedroom downstairs that was actually kind of strange. You got a strange feeling when you walked in it, and the window wouldn't open.
Mm-hmm.
And the windows had vertical blinds. And I noticed that there was a strange odor in this room, and it smelled like a combination of sweat, you know, like an old man's sweat and aftershave type smell. And I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it. You know, I'm so busy with going through my divorce and all the stress and all that kind of stuff that I didn't really want any more headaches in my life. And so the house had a cedar closet in it, and it smelled absolutely wonderful. And there were times where I'd walk into that cedar closet, and I would smell that smell. And there were other times I'd be taking a shower, and I'd suddenly smell that smell. He was in the bathroom while I was taking a shower. Can you believe that? So what convinced me that finally that there was a ghost there was I had my little dog at the house. She was a little Pomeranian, and I was standing in the kitchen looking out the window. And I'm not even kidding you. I felt somebody walk up beside me. I felt that cold breeze of air. I smelled that old man smell. And I felt him put his arm around my shoulders like he was standing beside me looking out the window going, oh, isn't this nice, you know? Yeah. And my dog started to growl, and she wouldn't move. She just, you know, I instantly, I knew that it was real, that there really was a ghost in the house. And so I'm telling the dog, come on, let's go, you know, trying to get her to move. And she wouldn't move. And I just wanted to get her upstairs, you know, and just get away from this thing that was, I knew it was touching me. And I finally got the dog to run upstairs, and we both jumped on my bed, and I was like, holy cows, you know, she was looking at me like, wow, what the heck was that? And from that day forward, we had lights go on and off. At bedtime, the TV would shut off, and the lamps on the coffee table would shut off, or the end tables on the sofa. Mm-hmm. I would go out the door, and the door would slam shut behind me and lock. Lights, like I said, the lights, we could hear him walking up and down the stairs. We could hear him talking. Just the amount of activity was so insanely ridiculous. He would go into my son's room and tear his posters off the walls. And like I said, he'd follow me in the bathroom. It was like...
Gosh, so what did you draw any conclusions about, like, if it was a previous owner, or? I don't know,
yes, it was.
Weird.
Yes, it was. I knew the girl whose uncle it was. It was her uncle. He had died in the downstairs bedroom, and she said he hated horror movies, and it always seemed like our TV would shut off whenever we would watch a horror movie. And the day he died, she actually saw him. He was sitting in her backyard on her picnic table. And she didn't know at the time that he was dead. She was just wondering why he was sitting back there. And so, yeah, he was very active. In fact, the owners moved into the house after. Well, actually, they had one more renter in there after I left. And I do believe that person was scared off. And the owner actually had to, they remodeled the whole house. And then it seemed like the ghost settled down. Mm-hmm. But he's still there.
Wow.
And
so what are your thoughts with that? Is that just people that don't realize they died, you think? Or what do you think?
That's what I'm thinking, because he was very aware of me. Mm-hmm. We had gotten used to each other. I even had yelled at him a few times to settle down because he was scaring my son. And the day that I was moving out, I was going from room to room and packing boxes, and honest to God, I could feel him walking behind me, because I'd be warm, and then the next minute I'd stop, and all of a sudden I'd be cold, and I'd smell him all the way around me. Oh, and another symptom of having a ghost in your house is your ears will pop. Oh. It's like the air pressure changes, so your ears pop. And so he was following me around. He was bumping into me. It was like I knew what he was feeling. He was going, where are you going? What's wrong? Why are you leaving me? And, yeah, it was very sad. I was actually very sad to move out of the house. And I have to say that I don't think I've ever had a house still the same as that did. To this day, I miss him. I almost wish he had followed me Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it's stinky though.
It's probably the water won't hit him he's probably trying to clean up with you in the bathtub while you had the water going, and he thought he was just being a naughty old man, you know. It's like, hey, can I slip in there and get cleaned?
Right?
So Neo Glimmer is bringing up a good consideration anyway. What if people like have entity attachments, right, and then they pass away, and then they were sort of letting the entity run their life so much that they sort of assume their position, their role. Maybe they, I don't know. It's just the thought that I was just reading his comment here, and that does make it sound more creepy, though, I guess. But
right. I know that there were a lot of nights that I laid awake listening to him stumbling around the house and dropping things, and it wasn't just something that happened every day. It was things that happened all day long, every single day. I mean,
I can't believe you stayed there. I mean, I think I would have probably left pretty quick. But I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, you think, even though there were times I was scared and I, for some reason, I couldn't. I don't know what it was. It was like I felt a connection to him. I can't even explain it.
Just compassionate towards him, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe you felt his loneliness, because I can imagine that would be lonely.
Right.
Not so fancy Nancy is wanting me to ask you if you ever tried saging the house at that time or doing anything like that in the beginning.
No, No, I didn't do anything to the house. Back then, I'm so new to all of this, what do you call it?
Just
all of this,
paranormal stuff, yeah.
I've only been awake since last August, so it hasn't even been a full year yet. Well, I guess it's August, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
well,
I've only
happy
been awake
birthday.
Yeah, well, pretty soon, end of the month.
Yeah, it's a different world now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I don't think I was as spiritual back then, and I didn't see the things that I see now. And but I had a lot of things happen to me. I still got lots of stories to tell you, but
yeah, even the ones I know about.
Yeah,
even the ones I know about, I can't wait to talk, because the way you presented them to me last year is like, I don't know, they were like some of those, what do you call it, Reader's Digest short stories in my mind. It was like, I don't know, I just remember them like, fine little stories, and I think everybody else will enjoy them as well.
Yeah, and we could always do that too, is just read what I wrote, because I have more time to think about it. I'm not as good on my feet when I'm just talking as when I can write about it ahead of time, because then you remember all the little details of everything that happened.
Yeah.
And I will have more for you, I know that much. It's been my whole entire life has been just one big supernatural adventure, I guess. And you don't realize that it's happening to you. You just think, this is normal, this is happening to everybody, but it's not.
Right. Yeah, or people, maybe they'll notice it, but they'll just blow it off like they do with the whole Mandela effect. Was that sort of the thing that woke you up?
Yeah, I think that basically what woke me up, there were a couple different things, and one of the big ones was the Arctica being gone, the northern ice cap.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that, and I got chills through my whole body. I was like, why isn't this all over the news? What's going on?
Right.
Why aren't people freaking out? This is what they've been worried about for years and years, that the polar ice caps are going to melt and then flood everything, and it's gone, and nobody's saying anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that is trippy when nobody else notices. It makes it almost just as weird.
Yeah. So there were things like that. There's other things that woke me up, but that was probably one of the biggest right there. So, but I'm not going to hold you up, Shane. I'm going to be a good girl. So, I better cut it short. So.
No problem. It was a pleasure talking to you again, Biker Babe, and we will definitely talk again in the future and share your other stories. Always a pleasure.
Always, yes. Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
Oh, yeah, it was a blast. Love you, sis.
Okay. You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye-bye.
Whoops, I got to figure out which window you're in so I can hang up. All right. I'm showing how much a noob I am here. Did we hang up? I can't even find the window anymore. Hopefully I don't ring her back because I didn't hang up. Okay. All right, so let me, before I open the phone lines, I'm going to call up Rebecca here. She had a story she wanted to share. See if I can get her on the horn. Let's see. Hi, Rebecca. Pretty good. Let me pull you into the live stream here. Okay, here we have Rebecca. Actually, I'm talking through Facebook Messenger with Rebecca, but she had a story she wanted to share, an amazing story. Are you still there? Oops, did I lose you? Uh-oh. Check 1, 2, check.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi.
All right, what was your story you wanted to share?
In the Panhandle, Florida in 2013, a psychic medium.
I got 2013, a psychic medium. It cut out before that. Can you back up a little bit?
I woke up, I was traveling from Virginia to South Florida, and I stopped in the Panhandle of Florida on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up in the middle of the night in a hotel, a psychic medium.
Oh, wow.
And I've been hearing from spirit every day since.
Oh, wow. So tell me what that's been like.
It's crazy, man. It's all news. But the shift is huge. It's real.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most of us watching this know.
Yeah, yeah. It's miraculous. It's just, I've got so much information. It's crazy. I mean, it's just every question I ever had, I've gotten an answer to. I'm a special education teacher.
Whoops, it's cutting out again.
I wanted to know why.
Did you
how could this?
Do you have the phone number? I think maybe it would be better to call in on the phone line. I thought you were actually in Australia for some reason, so I didn't want you to have to pay the toll charges, but if you're in the States, it might be easier. Let me see if I can. Let me try to call you really fast here. I'm going to hang up and call you right back, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, 1 second here. This shouldn't take too long. Copy that. Okay, go to my... All right. Here's the screen I was looking for. Sorry about that. I'll mute it until I get her on the phone. Hi, is this Rebecca?
Yes, it is. Hi.
Oh, yeah, this is much better. I can hear you much better.
Okay. All right, good.
Okay, so you said you met a psychic medium or you woke up as a psychic medium?
No, I woke up as a psychic. I was staying in a hotel in the Panhandle of Florida in the summer of 2013, and I woke up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom like I always have to now.
Right.
And as I was walking back from the bathroom in the hotel to the bed, you got the bed, and at the foot of the bed you have the dresser. You have that little walkway in between the two.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking back to the bed, and with my left hand, I went to turn the TV off because I had left it on when I had fallen asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And as I reached out my left hand to turn the TV off, in my thinking voice, I heard
Korean War, Alaska, house flooded, too much mold, building a new house. Boom, 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 just like that. I thought, what the hell's that? And I thought it was on a TV show that I had left on when I had fallen asleep, and maybe my brain overheard something, you know, on the TV or something.
Right.
When I was in my sleep, so I didn't think much about it, but I remember it. So I turned the TV off and got back into bed. Well, the room I was in didn't have coffee pot, so I had to go to the office lobby thing, check-in place, to get my coffee when I woke up. So I walked in, and I walked across the lobby to the coffee stand, mixed my coffee, and as I'm leaving the hotel, I swung by the check-in counter to get one of those little free newspapers off the counter to read. And I started chatting with the woman who was opening up for the day because I recognized her from the day before when I had checked in. Good morning, how are you? This kind of thing. Are these newspapers free? Yeah, go ahead, take one. Well, there was an old lady standing on my side of the counter of the thing, and she had a bathrobe and slippers on and a cup of coffee, so I knew she was a guest there, too, getting her coffee. And the three of us started chatting, and the woman that worked there tells me her name's Ina. I cry every time I tell this story, every single time. It's just amazing. And she tells me that her name's Ina and that she's staying in the hotel for a long time. And then Ina took over the story and said that her house had flooded. And she got it all cleaned out and cleaned up, and she moved back into the house, but then she got really sick. And come to find out, there was mold all over the inside of her wall. My whole life changed right there. I started shaking a little bit. I said, Ina, I said, your husband was in the Korean War. Y'all lived in Alaska? She goes, yeah.
Oh, my God. That gave me chills.
Well, come to find out, her husband was trying to warn her because one of the hotel maids and the hotel manager had a scam going where the maid would steal from the customers, the guests, and then they would split it. And sure enough, she had money stolen from her room and everything. I've been hearing from Spirit every day since.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, no, dude. I mean, I'm a teacher. I'm supposed to be a teacher.
Right.
I'm getting ready to start a new job Monday. So, I mean, hopefully I can do this. You know what I mean? Because I'm walking in both worlds here.
Right, and that's something you can't really put on your resume.
It's, dude, you have no idea what I've been gone through for the past 5 years. I mean, it's been crazy.
So
crazy.
what are some other instances that happen on a regular basis?
Hundreds of them. I was in a laundromat, and okay, first let me tell you that the first group that came into me were veterans. Okay. And I get tons of messages from veterans. I know about what's going on. They've told me the story. It's all tied back to the Communist Manifesto. And for me personally, because I can remember sitting in my classroom one day in Virginia, because I was there for 4 years. I was teaching at a hospital there. And I was sitting at my teacher desk, and I was looking at all the kids. They're so cute, and they're so normal. I'm thinking, why are they in this place? You know what I mean? They're just regular kids.
Yeah.
And so what happened was I asked God, I was serious. You know, I said, God, what's going on here? I mean, there's nothing wrong with these kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, well, it's the way everybody treats them. I mean, they're supposed to look a certain way and act a certain way and do a certain thing. And if you can't, you know, there's something wrong with you. Well, bullshit. We're all individuals. You know what I mean? And they try to put everybody in the same box. And I mean, it's just bullshit. So, so I'm in a laundromat one time, and a veteran is in there. He's got really bad PTSD, Spirit tells me. So I invite him out to my car. I says, come here for a minute. I'm going to give you something. And I gave him a contact for, what's his name? Paul Stellig, I believe his name is. He's a medium a medium psychotherapist that works with clients with PTSD and gets them in touch with the souls of the people that they've lost. and everything and cures them. One visit. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just amazing. He's like, thank you so much. I'm like, it's going to work. Trust me. And I've got story after story, 5 years worth of stories like that. 5
That's
years
wild.
worth.
So it's more like you're not channeling a certain individual, or
No. You want to know something? You want to know who I'm channeling?
Yeah.
John the Baptist's mother, Elizabeth, is who talks to me.
You're kidding me.
I swear to God.
Now,
I swear to God.
What was your
I kept
background
hearing
before?
Elizabeth. What?
What was your background before all this? Were you an ultra-religious
I'm a normal
person?
everyday person. Just normal everyday person. But I'm an Aquarian.
Right.
You know, we think out of the box. You know what I'm saying?
And aren't we going into the Aquarian age? Maybe it's having
That's
that resonance.
it. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. We're in it.
That's so wild.
We're in it.
So you would you say you were into metaphysics and stuff like that before all of this happened, or
No. I mean, I believed in the possibility of it. I didn't have a closed mind or anything.
Right.
But no, nothing. I just woke up a psychic medium one day. I'm not kidding, dude.
Oh, I can believe that. That's how it was with Deborah Solera. She wasn't really into any of that, and then all of a sudden she can read Akashic records and stuff. She didn't even know the right terminology for stuff because she was like a newbie. You know.
Exactly. My soul woke up. You know.
Yeah.
God answered my prayer. He showed up for me. That's all I know.
So how do you see the unseen world then? As far as like Elizabeth and some of the other, you say you've channeled veterans and things like that.
Yeah. They are, okay, first of all, dimensions are right here with us.
Mm-hmm.
They're not up in the sky. They're not over here. If you're vibrating at a certain frequency, you can see them.
Mm.
That's the difference between somebody that's clairvoyant and somebody that isn't.
Right.
They're vibrating at a different frequency, their consciousness. That's all it is. They're right here with us. Aliens are right here with us. They're all right here with us.
Now, have you gotten any visual stuff, or is it just all audible? Or
no, I'm clairvoyant too. Yeah, I got visual stuff, sure.
Oh, that's
sure,
wild.
Yeah, but I'm mostly what's called claircognizant. Joseph Labruto, I just had a meeting with him last month. He's a well-known psychic here in South Florida. I went and met with him, and during the first thing he said in our session, he goes, "Oh, claircognizance." I said, "Yeah, that's it. You got it." Or just all of a sudden, I just know stuff.
Right.
All of a sudden, I just know stuff. And my students, because I'm a teacher, I looked at this one girl once, and I go, "Oh, you had fun this weekend?" She goes, "What are you talking about?" And I recited her whole weekend to her. She goes, "Oh my God, how did you know that?" She was so busted, man. It was so funny.
That's cool. Yeah, I've gotten the knowing thing before, and I can't really explain it. It just kind of pops into your head like an idea. You know.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So it's like if we can just tune our radio station into it's like right here all the time. It's almost like...
You want to know how you tune in? There's only one way to tune in.
Let's hear it.
There's only one way. And that is love.
Ah.
That's it.
Yeah, I believe that. Totally believe that.
That's it. You put all judgment to the side, which my mother slapped it out of me when I was 12. I came home from school one day and I said, "You're not going to believe it. We got a new nigger in our class." Bam! She slammed me right across the face, boy. And then she grabbed my shoulder. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." Because I scared her when I said that.
Right.
Because I wasn't raised with that around that kind of environment, but people in school said the word.
Right.
So I came home and repeated it, and she was like shocked that I said that, you know?
Oh, yeah. I got smacked across my face for saying gosh. Or I said, God dang it. And I thought she thought I said GD, and I hadn't. And she smacked me. I said dang. And she said, "It's not that part. It's the God part that you got smacked for."
Right. Good.
Yeah.
So, my mom was the most loved. Well, you know Dolores Cannon, right? You've heard of her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, her one book, 3 Waves of Volunteers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar. Okay, my mother, me, and my younger sister are 3 volunteers.
Right, yeah, I feel like a lot of us are the volunteers. Yeah, I often cite part of that book as explaining the Mandela effect because they say at some point these higher beings were going to make material changes to our reality, observable changes. And I was like, man, this is the Mandela effect that everybody's seeing. They're trying to wake us up, you know, and I couldn't believe it because that book came out. I know it came out in like 2011, but the story came from way before then, before anybody was talking really about this stuff. I mean, people were seeing it, but now it's really amped up and people are seeing these changes in a big way. And it's like, it's a wake-up call if you're seeing them.
It's here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to make it happen. I'm getting ready to start this new job at this new school, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm telling you.
So is it something you could turn on and off at any time?
Yes. Now I can, yes.
But at first it sort of just came in whenever it wanted to?
Yep, and it still comes in. If the spirit's strong enough, I'm not going to be able to turn it off. And I can't not deliver the message. I have to.
Right.
I mean, I just have to. Sorry, they come first.
Oh, yeah.
It's taken them a lot of work to get through to me. I'm going to deliver the message.
Who's the most interesting person you've channeled? You said you channeled John the Baptist's mom, Elizabeth. Yes. And that's the one you probably do the most, right?
Yeah. Not, well, a lot of veterans. When I say a lot of veterans, I mean a lot of veterans.
And what do they
do to me all the time?
They just have you deliver messages to their family, or what is that?
Yes, yes. And also give me knowledge about what's going on with the government and,
what's really going on.
What?
I said, what's really going on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what kind of information do you have about nowadays? I know there's a lot of different conspiracies and ideas going on about what's going on. Have you gotten any information about that?
Yeah, the Democratic Party has been taken over, hijacked by the Marxists, and the Republican Party has been taken over by pretty much the corporate elite, you know, people just money focused. Mm-hmm. That we need to start a third party or, you know, out of the box party would be our best bet. And we probably could do it now. Mm-hmm. With Trump's landslide win kind of proves that the people, you know, are set up with that. You know, I mean, the Clinton Foundation, just look at their record, you know, their financials.
Yeah.
Say how crooked they are, and how about the wake of dead bodies in their trail, you know? Does anybody pay attention to this? I mean, hello?
So have you gotten anybody that's been, like, say they've been off to be silenced or anything? Have you gotten anybody like that?
Let me think. I have to think.
Because I know a lot of veterans. The reason I said that is because I know a lot of people that go on to be in government did have some time as, you know, a veteran, and they went on to maybe go into some of the alphabet agencies, and then, you know, you hear all these stories about, you know, people getting silenced and stuff like that. So that's what.
Well, it's not going to be able to happen anymore. I mean, there's a huge uprising. The light workers are here, and we are going to make a difference. I mean, whether people like it or not.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's just going to happen. I mean, it has to. It has to. You know, people can't deny it anymore. I mean, when somebody looks at me and says, man, you can't hear dead people talk, and all of a sudden I tell them their Uncle Larry's name and a very specific memory they had together, they're like, oh my God. I'm like, there, see? Don't fuck with me, man.
Yeah. I can imagine that could be a lot of fun, actually.
It is, because I'm just an everyday person, I swear. You know what I mean? I mean, I drink beer. You know what I'm saying? I'm just an everyday regular person. Yeah. I think that's what my name is going to be, is the everyday medium or something. I got to think of something, you know?
Right.
I mean, I'm just a regular everyday person.
Now, what about solving any cases or anything like that? Have you had anything cool like that go on?
Well...
The hotel one you mentioned, I mean, did you...
Yeah, that was my first one. Okay. You know Sandy Hook Elementary?
Yeah. We're all really familiar with that one. Is it true that that's just...
Well, let me tell you.
Okay.
Jesse came through to me one night. I called his mom the next day and spoke to her on the phone, and she confirmed everything that Jesse told me.
Was that one of the victims?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a first grader, Jesse Lewis. He's the one who channeled me my idea that I'm writing right now that I'm going to be getting published. I'm going to change the fucking world with it. You watch, man. I'm serious. I'm not joking. He gave me the idea of what to do, but the veterans really, really stress the Communist Manifesto and the Marxists that are in power right now. And we've really, really got to get rid of them. I mean, they are bad, bad news.
So we have two wings of a dirty bird then, really, when you look at the politics.
Yes, but the worst of the two is the left, the Marxists. I mean, because they come in under such false, ideas that they want to help. And I mean, look what happened in Haiti. I mean, nobody got any help, and millions was contributed. Nobody got any help over there. I mean, and this is okay. What happens is I'm in the public school system for years, a teacher. Critical thinking is squashed. Every time it pops up in the classroom, it is squashed. I'm proof. I'm a witness to this. Kids are not allowed to think outside the box. They're not allowed to question. If they do, they are squashed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way it is. And it's very, very hard for me. I'm teaching in a private school now because I cannot teach in a public school anymore. I don't have the patience for it. Cussing too many people out. Have you heard of, oh yeah, I cuss other teachers out all the time, man. They treat the kids like shit. Everybody operates from ego.
Yeah.
They're not worried about the kids. They're worried about themselves.
So what do you have? Do you have any information for the immediate future that's come through that you can share?
Yeah, get ready for the age of Aquarius. It's going to be nothing but, politicians, they're on their way out, man. I mean, when my generation, how old are you?
44.
Yeah, okay, I'm 50. So when our generation, my generation, whatever you want to call it, in full throttle, when they hear from people like me, I swear to you, dude, I'm just an everyday regular person, but I got a big fucking mouth. And I got no problem using it for the right reasons. God wouldn't have let this happen. He wouldn't have let this open up if he didn't know what I had to say was good and going to help.
Right. Yeah, no sense in having the gift if you're not going to use it, right?
Here you go. I mean, hello. What am I supposed to do with this? Well, I'm going to change. I've always said that I was going to change the world for the handicapped. I've been saying that since I'm like 19, 20 years old. Why? I didn't know, but now I know why. But I didn't know at the time, but I've always felt that in my heart and my soul. So that's what I was supposed to be doing.
Definitely. So the political scene, that's all going to get torn away and something new is going to replace it. That's good news.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's perfect.
Yep. Well, if we can get rid of Clinton, God, that woman is like a nightmare, man. No, man, she won't go away.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. They can see right through the. That was one of the things that kind of annoyed me a little bit about the election season. I didn't really get involved with it, but just as an observer, it was like she was playing the game, and a lot of times Trump didn't really hold his tongue where she knew what not to say publicly. And it was like, I think you have like one person that just isn't playing the political game and they seem like they're worse because of the things they're saying, but this other person just knows they're playing the game. Yeah. They know what not to say. You know what I mean? But still you get
you just look at the trail of dead bodies in her trail. Look at the,
Yeah, that goes way back before the presidency even.
Yeah, I mean, a long time. All the young girls that he was beefing, that she got pissed off about. I mean, it's all there on the internet. The public school system, if is it John Taylor Gatto, I believe? Do you know him?
No, I don't think so. Not by name, anyway.
He won the New York Teacher of the Year 2 or 3 times. I can't remember now. But he's written multiple books on the bad the school system is. And he articulates it beautifully, much better than I can,
Yeah.
So when anybody questions about the school system and what's going on, but he retired from teaching because he said, quote, I can't abuse the kids anymore. And it's true what goes on. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's tough.
Really, really is.
It's tough to see what's going on, and then especially even when you get into the curriculum and you see how they've got things in there that are outdated and proven to be wrong, but they don't change it. They just keep teaching our kids it and stuff, and it's like...
Well, I'm talking about the way the kids are treated.
Right.
By the people in the classroom. It's not good.
Yeah. You're talking about teachers or other
good.
students or
Yeah.
pretty much everybody?
Yeah. Both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah, that's really sad when you see the teacher allow things to go on, too, between students as well, you know what I mean? That they see
Cannot
it's
tell you how
happening
many teachers I have cussed out in my 19-year career.
Yeah.
Many, many, many.
Definitely. Yeah, and I know
Many.
with Hillary, she had some stuff way back in, like in her...
20s.
Yeah, that stuff that came out where she was laughing at victims and yeah, I remember hearing about that and thinking, wow, she's just always been like that.
She's terrible.
Yeah.
She really is. She's terrible.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Rebecca. You'll definitely call back if you get some juicy information we need to hear about, right?
I do. God's here. Ascended masters. Angels are everywhere. Right down. Right to your right to your left, right above you.
Mm-hmm.
They're completely surrounding you.
And
Everybody.
love is the key. Love is the key to making the connection.
That's it.
And really,
That's
any
it.
of us can do it, right?
Anybody. You've got to be pure in your heart, pure in your intentions, and bam. All you got to do, how I started hearing from them is automatic writing. That's what worked for me. Took out a piece of paper, because I can't sit and meditate quietly. You know what I mean? I just go nuts.
Yeah.
My mind races too much and this and that, so I started automatic writing, and bam, answers. Write down the question that you have on a piece of paper at the top. Clean piece of paper underneath it, and just start writing whatever you hear. You're going to get connections from people that you haven't thought about in years. I got connections from our neighbors when I was 10.
Wow.
Yeah, Gerald Hedrick, he was one of our neighbors. He's still talking to me. You wouldn't believe it, what I've gotten. It's amazing.
So when is this book you're writing coming out?
Well, I've got one done. I don't know if I should go ahead and put it on Facebook as a freebie to introduce myself. I need to make my first YouTube video is what I want to do. I'm back in South Florida, so I need to go down the beach and shoot my first video.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to teach kids how to beat this fucking school system, man.
Yeah.
How to do it.
So do you recommend people homeschool?
Hell no, we're going to change the fucking school system.
So the political system's getting revamped. The school system, education, that's getting revamped.
Yep.
That's awesome. We definitely need to
Light workers are here. We're going to make sure it happens.
Definitely.
Are you a light worker too?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely a volunteer. When I read that in fact I did a video about that. Actually, I came across it with the Law of One material. They called them wanderers and that, and
yeah.
And I was like, this is me. This is totally me. And I did this video, and all these people were chiming in. I got a bunch of subscribers from that because people were like, that's me, you know. And then I came across it in Dolores Canyon. I get knowings, like I was just telling you.
Who is Lewis? You know somebody named Lewis?
No, knowings. Just
no, I said, do you know a Lewis? Somebody named Lewis.
Lewis. I know a Lewis that's sort of out of his mind. He had some kind of head injury or alcoholism or something. I don't know if he passed away though. I'm from St. Louis.
Who had a poodle? Your grandma had a poodle?
I don't know. No, I don't know anyone with a poodle.
Yeah, there's a poodle, definitely.
A poodle in the
Somebody had a poodle. Somebody had a poodle. Who had a poodle?
Poodle. I don't know. It could be somebody.
Do you remember planting of sweet potatoes or anything like that?
No. No, could be
What about
something
a
with my
dentist?
family.
You know a dentist?
Dentist, no.
I don't know who this is talking to me.
Dentist. Poodle. See, now you could be talking about some distant relatives. I have a huge family. I mean, my dad had 8 brothers, and, we'd visit a lot
Wow.
of them.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so, and I remember we'd go,
Who's
and then,
Jeffrey?
my brother's Jeff, and his son is Jeffrey.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Somebody's talking to me. Jeffrey, your brother. Who's Milton?
Milton?
You used to watch the Milton Berle show with him when you were growing up with somebody? Who did you used to watch that show with?
No, not that show. There's a book, Milton the Early Riser, that was sort of a micro or an archetype of my life.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Yeah.
That's where the Milton connection is. Okay. So whoever's talking to me knows about this. And your brother, Jeff.
Could be my mom then.
Oh, your mom's passed?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's been passed away since I was 19, so.
Wow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jeffrey was her
She liked
firstborn.
Anne Margaret. Did you know that?
Anne Margaret. No, who is Anne Margaret?
She was a fan of Anne Margaret.
Let me see. See if it looks, Margaret. Oh, probably.
She was, what?
Yeah, she was an actress.
Yeah. She was a big fan of Anne Margaret, she's telling me.
That's wild. I'm trying to figure out what she played in. Oh, Viva Las Vegas. That was that movie with Elvis, right?
I think so.
She loved all those old movies.
I don't know. She said it. I don't know. Hi to Jeffrey. Wow.
Yeah, Jeffrey was her firstborn son. He was actually a half-brother, but he was raised like, a full-blooded brother to me. So.
Yeah. Yeah, different fathers.
And she loved, different fathers, and she loved his firstborn son, Jeffrey. She loved him to death. I think that was, her only grandson that she got to see. She died before
She's saying
any
hi
of us.
to him.
That's nice.
She's saying hi, and she loves him.
And there's really no telling about planning because they did all that, so.
And she's saying that she watched him play with the balloons recently. Find out what he did with balloons recently. She was there. She saw it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't talked to him in years, so I don't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what she's doing. She's telling me to talk to him.
Probably, yeah.
Yep, she is.
There might be a Jeffrey the Third by
Who's
now.
afraid of spiders? Are you really afraid of spiders?
No. I mean, I don't particularly care for them, but I'm not like jumping up on chairs or anything,
Do you have a memory with a spider? Maybe Jeffrey, something happened with him lately with spiders. With a spider. I don't know what she's telling me.
I don't know.
When you call him, ask him what happened with the spider.
Okay, yeah, that might freak him out a little bit. Call him after I haven't talked to him in a few years and ask him about something that recently happened to him.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, God, it's hot out here. Where are you? In Oklahoma?
Yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
What do people do in Oklahoma?
Good question. I'm originally from St. Louis, so.
What do you do in Oklahoma, though?
My wife's family is from here, so I'm just really here. I work from home, so I'm here.
You're along for the ride.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
funny. All right, I got another call coming in, but I will call you on the show sometime.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca. Have a good one.
Okay, take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
God bless. Bye. All right. Keep an eye out for sweet potatoes. And yeah, definitely don't like spiders, but I'm not really afraid of anything. I mean, I'm going to fling it off if it's on my arm, but let's see here. All right, I'm going to open up the phone lines. Here we go. This is Shane. Welcome to the broadcast. Who's calling? How are you doing, Cynthia? Welcome to the broadcast.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Wonderful. Where are you calling from?
Sedona, Arizona area.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah, we just had a caller last week's last caller was from Sedona.
Oh, the lady that was just on?
No, last week's caller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't remember his name right offhand. James, I think. Just kind of going off memory.
Okay.
You said you're Cynthia?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to type your name in here.
You want me to spell it?
Oh, no. No, I think I got Cynthia.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right, I got your name there. So how are you doing today?
Fabulous. Of course, I'm like with most of the world. We're in 6th planet retrograde, and so emotions go up and down. Have you been having that happen for you?
I've been feeling pretty good lately. I haven't really had any lows. I guess maybe some lows, but not really low. You know what I mean? I've been feeling great and not as great. You know?
Right. For me, it comes up for a few minutes and dealing with stuff and like, what am I going to do? And then I just let it go, and then I'm fine. So it's not a constant thing, but just a hit and miss.
Yeah, I have had that. Just really brief moments of, what do I do? You know.
Right.
And I just let it go. I don't dwell on it now that I'm sort of, since the I am discourse, I recognize those feelings like that, and I just sort of take control of them right away.
Yes. And then we also have all the planets are rotating together on the same side of the sun for about another 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that.
Right. And so so a lot is happening worldwide, and some people, things they've been putting off is now coming up into their face, and sort of their life is, part of it is crashing, and so they have to make choices on what they're going to do and things like that. So one of the reasons I'm glad you answered is I put on your Facebook Messenger and on your page that on August 11th, there's a worldwide meditation going to be happening. So I hope a lot of people on your Facebook page will see that. It's a major meditation that's going on.
Oh, cool.
So,
is that in the consciousness wave, the consciousness wave Facebook that you did that, or just on my wall or whatever?
Under Shane.
Okay.
Under Shane. I didn't know about the other Facebook page. I do have you as a friend, and we've connected on Messenger, so I put messages for you, but I don't see if you ever read them.
I probably don't. I just got on here and I had I don't know, 10 or 15 friend requests because it's been so long since I've been on. Oh, here we go, Cynthia.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I got it. Yeah.
So if you could take that, copy and paste it, and put it on your other page, that would be lovely.
Most certainly. Yeah, let me...
So,
the portal. Make this viral. Key to the freedom meditation at the eclipse. Okay, so what kind of... is that a lunar eclipse coming up? Another one?
Yes. Well, I don't know. I know it's an eclipse.
Right.
So much is happening, I can't keep up with it.
I know. I was surprised we had another one coming already. I'm like, another one already? What's going on here?
This is a very major year for the world, and actually for the whole universe.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm a medium, but I'm not a practicing medium. So sometimes messages come through, sometimes they don't. But when they do come through, my body starts tingling, and I always ask for confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like this call you want to know about when we woke up.
Yeah. What's your story with that?
I'm going to be 67 in December.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was around 15, my sister and I were having a conversation, and she said, here's something to think about. And I go, okay. She's very open-minded. She says, what if when God breathes out, every molecule is a planet?
Mm.
And then down the road, he breathes back in that molecule, and that experience ends, and then later on he brings on another, breathes out, and another, all these other ones come out.
Mm-hmm.
So that put me on my path.
Right.
So I'm the type that can touch rocks, and depending on the rock or the crystal or whatever, if it's supposed to talk to me, my hands will start tingling. I've believed in many lifetimes for eons. I'm a big Dolores Cannon fan.
Mm-hmm.
Her books are excellent. I don't know how many of them you've read.
I've read about 3 or 4 of them now. I kind of lost count.
Have you read any of the Convoluted Universe books? There's 5 of them.
Yeah, I think I started the first one of that. I think that might be the last one because I went back. I had read some of her later ones, and then she always refers back to those. So I was like, I need to go and read the Convoluted Universe books. So.
Well, I don't have a lot of money, so I get them from the library.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Hey, it's recycling.
Yeah.
So, but
most of the ones I got were only like $7 on. I could get it on as you go into your Android app and what is it, the Google Play Store, and you can get it for just I think I've only paid like $7 for them. So then I can read it on my device. So it's pretty cheap that way.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then I'm friends with Rod Russell and his wife, Mary.
Rod Russell?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a very interesting man. For over 25 years, he's been channeling. And every Thursday night, he is on BBS radio for an hour. And when he channels, he leaves his body. He has no clue what is said during the whole time. This way, ego is not involved in the answers that people ask. And he brings through various souls or entities. He'll bring through Octarians, Palladians, Sitting Bull, Saint Germain, Mary Magdalene, you name it.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and the calls are archived, and it's called the Allow a Love Show. And what happens is people can come in and ask questions, and we ask them to sort of laser the question. Don't tell a big, long story. Just laser it because you've got other people. Mm-hmm. But we also, I'm on there, and my name is Cindy on that show. I have many names. Thea, Cindy, Cynthia. So we talk about current events, what is happening, and then personal questions. And so a lot of the topics are about, okay, this person is going to be now the president of their country. Are they good or are they bad? They're totally for humanity or they're a mixed bag. And then questions about Trump and what's happening there, questions about events. My number one cuss word now is soon. SOON.
Yeah.
Because the people on the other side of the veil, whatever you want to call it, they have no concept of time, and they say, well, it's going to happen soon. And that's like, don't say that. What's soon? So a lot of, and Mary has told me, no more asking for dates because everything's fluid. And I even ask once in a while a personal question about myself, what's happening. So I've learned not to ask questions because we're free will. What they could give us an answer at this moment. 10 minutes down the road, we think about a different scenario, and that changes the timeline of when it's going to occur.
But it's still all soon for those on the other side.
Right.
And we're like, soon, that's, what do you mean, in a couple of minutes, in a couple of years? Yeah, soon.
Right. So, concerning the U.S. government,
mm-hmm.
The cabal, which they call here for the United States, Canada mainly, they've already lost the battle. They just don't acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
So my personal opinion is we're not going to have midterm elections because so much is going to happen before then. A lot of those people are going to be arrested because there's over 40,000 sealed indictments. Are you aware of those?
Yeah, I think it just hit 45,000 actually earlier today.
Well, it's going to get over 100,000. And it's the arrests are going, this is all coming through Rod's channelings. The arrests are going to happen in phases because they can't arrest everybody all at once. It would be too much shock for the United States. Some will be public, some will not be public. Mm-hmm. There have already been a lot of arrests happening, but it's just not made public.
Yeah.
So,
some of them have, but the media they don't cover it. But I mean, you can find the information. You're like, well, how did this not hit the news? You know what I mean? But they don't cover anything, it seems. And then they get upset. They get upset when they're called fake news, and they feel endangered when people yell out, "Tell the truth." But and I'm sitting here thinking, when has anyone ever felt threatened from somebody yelling, "Tell the truth" to them, or that they suck?
Well,
you know what I mean? And it's like, just do your job, and that people won't yell at you.
They don't have to be worried about the Trump supporters getting harmed from them. They need to be worried about the Maxine Waters supporters hurting them. So, but what they will not say definitely this year, they being whoever is coming through, but our current form of government is going to change, and it's going to be sort of like a round table government, mm-hmm. where there's, let's say, 20 people that are going to be discussing and seeing, okay, what is going to be working, and they will only have their hearts will be for humanity. Nothing about money, nothing like that. So when we do have our new government, it's only for the people.
Right.
I'm a total believer of the event, mm-hmm. The shift, and so they will not give us a timeline. This is what we've been told recently, that we've met the minimum requirement for the human population's vibrations to have raised high enough. Mm-hmm. But there's just and they will not tell us exactly what it is, but because there's different factors. But when these certain pieces are all completed and ready to go, the source, the force, the God, all of whatever name you want to use, the council will say, can we have the event now? And then the event will happen full force. So I'm hoping it's before the end of the year, but it all depends on these other factors. About a month ago on one of the calls, it was either Lady Sophia came through mm-hmm. or Mary Magdalene, and she said August is going to be where the world is so happy. They're going to be in utter joy. And so last night we had a call, which there was a lot of problems with the call. They're going to try to filter the call, clean it up.
Right.
We get interference from the cabal coming in and making us sound crappy. So we work on not having them do that. But I did ask, and it was Genghis Khan that came through again. He's great. And I brought up how that was said about a month ago on the call. Is it still in the time frame for August that the world is going to be in utter joy and be happy?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yes, it's still on track for August. So I'm really looking forward to September 5th at first,
Right.
because August will be over with, but they won't tell us what it is. But so just plan something great. So I wonder if it's the event, but time will tell.
Right. Well, I sort of feel like it's we're already in it, and it's just we have these quantum leaps, little micro events, I guess, part of the bigger event. So I'm hoping, I'm hoping for some big ones that will really shift us and wake a lot of people up and sort of get us over the hump to where people are loving more and motivated by love instead of money. So this is the big part. Even if it takes a couple of generations, if we can get past that point, I'd be so happy,
Well, this is what we've been told about the event. So when the main thrust comes, have you listened to any of Allison Coe's YouTubes? Where
Definitely.
Okay, so, and I've asked about, we do ask about, okay, does this person, when, like certain psychics that come through and say things, what percentage are they accurate?
Mm-hmm.
We were told, it could be 75% or 50%, 85%. Like David Wilcox and Corey Goody, they're 85% accurate, but they do have to put out disinfo to keep themselves alive. They have said Allison is 100% accurate.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we love Allison here.
Oh, I listen to hers off and on. If anybody's listening, her last name is Coe.
Yeah.
So you can find her on YouTube. So when the event actually happens, all the souls have already decided for all the people on Earth, all the ones that are they'll be gone. So then some will go up, the ones that stay, some will go up to the ships, some will hop into 5D right away, and then you've got millions, I would say, like me. I'm going into the 5th, but I'm not going right away. I'm hanging around for a few weeks, because when I asked about it, they said, well, you're going to be here a while. And my response was, okay, what's a while? Is it a year?
That's like soon, isn't it?
Yeah, because what's going to happen for the people that don't go to the 5D right away? They're the ones that are, their soul's not quite sure if they're ready to go. And so it's going to, for some of them, it'll take 5 years. But in that time, you're going to have people like myself still here, but they're going to be learning how to work together as a humanity, because all the negative people are going to be gone, whether they're in prison or, a lot of politicians are gone.
Right.
When
you think of treason, things aren't going to look so good for a lot of people.
Right. So a lot of people will automatically be gone. Memories will be adjusted accordingly. So there's not going to be issues. We won't even remember about them. So the people that stay here on this earth will learn how to work together.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've been told is I'm going to stay here for a while. And I said, okay, am I going to be here a year, 2 years, 5 years? Oh, no. And I said, okay, about how long? And I was told just a few weeks. And I said, okay, well, why am I staying here? And that is to help some cross over to the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, how am I going to do that? And it's because of who you are. And I said, well, I like to make people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And I love people. I don't care what the worst thing they've ever done. And you guys can think a lot of negative stuff. But I have compassion for them. They're part of me. We're all part of one. I haven't walked in their shoes. I don't approve of what they've done, but I still love them as a soul. So I said, well, what's going to happen to me to help people move over to the 5th? And I was told, it's a surprise. I said, oh, great. I said, oh, great.
Now, I was
So
looking for,
said,
sorry to interrupt you, I was looking for Russell, let's see, you said it was...
Okay, it's on BBS Radio. It's the Allow, ALLOW, show.
Okay, the Allow Show.
Okay.
Because I
Now
found his
he-
YouTube channel, but it doesn't look like he does anything on it anymore. The Allow Show.
No. So, but he does private readings. You can, hey, everybody listening, take advantage of this. My name is Cindy Felger, Felger. For your first reading, they will give you a discount if you say you're a friend of Cindy's.
Oh,
Okay. He only normally charges $200 an hour, but he'll give you a discount by saying you're a friend of Cindy's. He does an MP3 recording of it, and he emails it to you.
But he does something live too, right? Or no?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And those, but now that I told, I don't know how many people are, 85 are watching. If there's a lot of people on the call, we request just one question. And he does not give you the answer. Whoever comes through will give you an answer.
Okay.
So,
I just dropped the link in there too so people can find it. bbsradio.com. The
Right.
Allow Love Show is the
Right.
web
And
address.
now, it comes on Pacific time. It's 8 p.m. until the clocks change.
Is it archived? I mean, can you listen to older shows?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you can. You can go and you'll hear my voice. Mary and I sort of tag on questions. Sometimes she'll go first and ask a lot of questions. For example, I saw a YouTube video about the Grand Canyon and how this one guy noticed that a lot of what they call buttes, the high points, that they're laid out in with the constellations. And he also noticed that it looks like some of the plateaus have been altered. There's no way when it was all ocean for that to be there.
Right.
So one of my questions, I like to ask different types of questions other than political stuff.
Right.
I said, how did that occur? And what we were told is the Andromedas came and transformed some of the buttes to have them different. And I asked, well, when did they do this? And I'm thinking 100,000 years ago. And we were told 472 years ago. And I went, oh, I was, surprised it was not very long ago. And that they did this intentionally and that there's energy emitting from these now. So we ask all different types of questions. They're whatever suits my fancy that I come up with. And a lot of them. Sometimes I've asked about the pyramids. So one of the things what was the question? I don't remember. Oh, Mary asked about that the planet Earth the galaxy is moving to a different part of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the whole galaxy is moving, but also the whole universe is shifting around.
Oh, wow.
And when we totally ascend into the fifth, the whole galaxy is ascending. It's just not us. But from some other things I've read years ago, we're the last planet there's the 13 planets from the central sun, and we're the last planet to ascend, and we're taking all the galaxy with us. So this event is bigger than all of us are aware of.
Wow.
Way bigger.
I've heard it's a huge thing going on.
Right. So I'm hoping it's August. I was hoping it was March, but surprise!
Yeah, I have a lot of those hope for dates in the past too. Like, I don't know, but I sure hope.
So, well, it's happening. Do you sometimes feel the energy shift around you? Like, wow, all of a sudden things feel a little different.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's coming. Bits and pieces are coming and raising the vibration. Now, with Cobra, have you heard about Cobra at all?
Cobra. I've heard the name before. Yeah, yeah, I definitely have come across this information before. It's been a while, though.
Okay, so when you go into Facebook, it also shows his website page.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening is all the underground bases are being removed and under the ocean. That's why in some parts of the world or in the United States, people are saying they're hearing these huge booms and this noise, but there's no earthquake. Well, it's the underground bases being taken out. All these elites who think they've got a place to hide, surprise, it's gone.
Right.
And so there's also the big, huge galactic war going on above us. That's almost done. So, and then there's also what's called the toplet bombs. The Samaras, if I'm pronouncing it right, are bad ETs. There's only about 5 or 6 left on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
These toplet bombs, they can make them go off and there won't be a planet left.
Mm.
So the Galactics have been working on deactivating the toplet bombs. They've been doing it for over a year. It's not just a walk in the park. And they have to hop between the 3rd and the 5th dimension
Mm-hmm.
to deactivate them. So in the beginning, it was a slower process. It's just like anything. Now they figured out, oh, we can do it this way, and we can do it that way. So they're getting them dismantled faster and faster. So personally, I think that's one of the things we're waiting on for the event. Plus the completion of the galactic battle going on. The galactic battle above us is all the humans that have spaceships that are on the bad guys' side.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking them out. So have you heard of Thor's hammer?
Not beyond what, just the myth of it
Okay.
or whatever, you know what I mean?
Okay, so it's a technology. I don't know who created it, whether it was the Palladians, the Etheriums, the Sirius, or somebody we haven't heard of. I don't know. But it's a technology where it will only take out negative energy. Now, the Palladians were given permission to start using that. So let's say there's 2 spacecrafts out there. One's the good guy, one's the bad guy. Well, they turn it on, the good guy ship that's really close by, and nothing happens to it, but it totally wipes out the bad guy's ship.
Wow.
So on on one of the calls I asked, have the Palladians been given permission to start using it here on the surface and also underground? And the answer was yes. So I don't know if when they do it, all the molecules are gone. You know, I don't know. It's nothing that I think we could see, but they're now starting to use it on the surface. Yay!
Yeah,
So
but now if it's sort of, because the way I understand it is the baddies can get taken out just by pure love. I mean, they can't stand the darkness in them, can't stand the love light energy. So it could just send a blast of love light energy, and I can see it hurting the darkies, but not the light workers, other people.
So the real negative ones, they also feed on loosh, Loosh. Have you heard of that?
Sure, yeah, that's the fear and everything the media is trying to push us into.
Right, and it's also when you really get pissed off at somebody, and I'm going to use words that people say are cuss words, but to me they're just words. Right. When you're really on the freeway and somebody cuts you off and you're going, you fucking asshole, you jerk, how the hell can you do that? That they feed off of.
Right.
So that's when they say, when you start flipping into things like that, work on learning how to cut it off and just say, well, I hope you have a good day, and send them love.
That's one of the things I always point out with the elites. It's like once this stuff comes out and people get angry, I'm like, dude, you just have to sort of try to understand and rise above the anger you're going to feel when these truths come out about what they've been into, because they feed off of that. I mean, it's just like the fear, you know.
And then a lot of these people that are anti-Trump, they're paid to be that way, literally given money. Just like what's happening over in Europe. It's all that most of the immigrants that are coming in, they're men. They're doing, the raping, what they're doing, setting cars on fire, beating people up, stabbing people, yada, yada, yada. They're getting paid financially to do this. So, bad mistake accepting that money, dude. When the event happens, you're gone, and you get to be stuck on a negative 3D planet and get to deal with that crap there. So, the event's coming. So the main thing is, if you start getting depressed, just look at this, because Dolores Cannon's books have really opened my mind a lot. It's just an experience, nothing more. And you're going to have another lifetime, whatever it is, wherever it is. So it's just a brief moment in time. So the best thing you can do when you see something negative, send that person love. And what that does is raise your vibration, and it's up to them to choose to accept your love or not. Hopefully they do. And that will help. If they do, that helps raise their vibration.
Exactly. And in turn, the whole vibration of the planet.
Right. So
we have some exciting times that's on the horizon, huh?
We're in exciting times every moment right now. If you see what's happening with Trump. Now, are you aware of the history how Trump became president?
Now, I've heard some of the theories surrounding that, like he was asked to, I've heard about the whole Q phenomenon and all of that, and, I've told people before, I'm real hopeful that, he's here to help out and all of that, but, I just don't know for sure about anything.
Oh, no problem. Him, Putin, and I can't pronounce his name correctly, I'll call him X, it's XI, the president, premier, whatever, is Prime Minister of China. All three of them are working together. Now, Trump was asked about 3 years before would he run for president. Certain admirals came to him, gave him tons of information, asked him to think about it. He said yes. But in his life contract before he was born, he agreed to become president. So Putin, Trump, and X, they have the Palladians come, Saint Germain comes. They are totally protected. They have meetings. They go up on the ships. They get help. They do strategic planning. They're told things they aren't aware of. So they're totally protected. And on one of the calls, could have been the call a week ago, Mary asked, well, what if somebody with a high-powered rifle a half a mile away, which they have these now, and other technology, what if they shoot Trump like in the heart and he dies? Will it take 2 or 3 seconds for him to be healed? And we were told, no, it's instantaneously. Trump is not going to die. His family's protected. Putin's protected, and so is X. They are giving the world our freedom back, and they are only for humanity. They want the freedom back for the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, nothing. Obama had the choice in the beginning. He could have been for humanity, and he was in the very beginning, but then he flipped sides. In the beginning, he was totally protected by the Galactics. Once he flipped sides, he could have been assassinated anytime, and they wouldn't have lifted a finger to help him. So, but yeah, they're totally protected. They're being guided all the time. So things are going to happen big time before the midterm elections. What? They will not tell us exactly what, because the enemy is always listening, and they don't want the enemy to know what is exactly going to happen.
Right.
So, is there anybody else that wants to talk? I don't mean to take up so much time.
Oh, no problem at all. I appreciate you filling us in on this and letting us know about a couple of sources that you go to. I'll definitely check out.
Okay.
I put his link in there so I'd be able to go back to it later.
Okay, and then also they're working on this now. Of course, once it'll probably happen this year, all this hidden technology is coming out. I can't wait for the replicators. Oh my God. Just like on Star Trek Generation, you go to the computer and say, I want a hot fudge sundae with cherries and whipped cream, and I have no fat on my body. And ta-da, there it is. Right. I cannot cook. You don't want to eat my food. I even burn water. Cooking, that's another cuss word for me. So, but the Russians have created this healing technology. It's a machine. And Mary has gotten a new version of it. And they can heal as long as your soul has agreed to it being healed. The machine will do healing on your body. For some people, it's instant. Other people, it'll take a few days for it to finally, depending on what it is, it might take a little bit of work. She's also getting what's called the remote. And let's say you know somebody that wants to be involved with that. Mary will get compensated because just the machine was $65,000. It's not cheap. And then the remote. So people, if they want to buy the remote and have it shipped, and then she'll train you how to use it, then you work in tandem doing healing sessions. Yeah. I have glaucoma. I cannot wait to have that healed. Left eye is really blurry. Right eye, it's hit and miss. If we're driving anywhere, it's best if you drive.
One of the things I heard about the replicator, they were saying when this closure comes out of all this technology that they could break out this replicator, create more replicators, and then begin to create all of these other technologies from the replicators. And they were saying it really wouldn't take much time at all, even though there's so many people on the planet, because
Right.
the machine to create everything is the technology's there to do that. So,
Exactly.
it's not like we'd have to
Exactly.
create all these plants, is what I'm saying. Like, typically now, if you say you come out with a new electric car, you've got to create a whole plant to do that. But
Right.
they've got these machines that can just make more of itself, and then they can make all the other things. So things could change
Yeah.
really overnight.
Yeah. So let's say you want a filet mignon and a lobster, a baked potato. It's all created out of molecules. No animal is harmed.
Right.
Now, some people say we should be all vegetarians. A lot depends on your body chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
The animals have come here, some of them to be food. What they suggest is that you, before you eat, let's say it's a steak or pork ribs, you say thank you to the meat for giving your life for my substance, to keep me alive. Now, I've never cared for most meat, but I don't really like fruits and only a few vegetables. So that sort of puts me in a weird place to eat. But, the replicators are going to be lovely. I'm being told to bring this up. I do get information channeled to me. Anybody concerned about chemtrails, let that go. It's a fair thing. The Galactics, just look at the streaks in the sky and say, oh, those are pretty designs, because the Galactics are removing all the chemicals out of them so they don't harm us. So just look at them and say, oh, they're a pretty design. So the Galactics are already helping us. They're helping cleaning up the ocean, the toxins out of it. The Fukushima, there was no radiation coming over to the United States or other countries. It was a fear-porn thing. The Galactics were making sure that it didn't do any harm to the ocean. I'm supposed to tell you guys that.
Oh, that's nice, because, I know a lot of people are worried about that whole Fukushima thing because,
Right.
they keep telling us it's leaking out. And, even my guest the other day said, just get your seafood from the Atlantic instead of the Pacific because of the whole Fukushima thing. So,
no.
A lot of fear.
That's the fear. That's the loosh. They're saying it's there when it's not. Mm-hmm. We are everybody here on Earth, pat yourself on the back. You are chosen to be here. There are so many souls. I'm getting this coming through me because I'm tingly. You are so blessed. Mm-hmm. There were billions of souls that wanted to be here at this time because of the event. Because of who you are, you were chosen to come here during this time. You are so beautiful, and just even being on this show, you're a light worker. When you walk past people, talk to people, you're automatically sending them love. That's who you are. Mm-hmm. So be excited about the event.
Oh, yeah, and you couldn't be more right about that we're here to shine our love and spread the light of truth.
Yeah. And personally, unless you're a cabal person listening to this show, you're going into the fifth dimension. Now, whether you hop over there right away, whether you're here on Earth for a few weeks, maybe a few years, they're hoping the sooner more people shift. They don't have to be here 5 years. It could all wrap up in 2 years. It just depends on the people. It could wrap up in 6 months. Some people will go aboard ships and then they'll come back down to the earth, just like Allison said.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, what her clients said. So, yeah, this is a fabulous time to be alive.
We should be
Fabulous
honored to be
time.
here. Feel honored to be here. Yeah.
Well, the Galactic, are you aware that if we could actually see out in space, we wouldn't be able to see space because there's millions of ships stacked like 20, 30 deep here from all over the universe, and also multi-universes and dimensions.
Yeah.
They're here to see the event. And I did ask the question on the channeling. I said, okay, do they see us in our body, our physical form? And what we were told is, no, they see you by your bright light. And they love it when they see another light that wasn't there before, another light light up, and another. And so they're watching the whole planet just becoming brighter and brighter as more souls wake up.
That's
So,
wonderful.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and hey, everybody, we're going to be able, if you want to go aboard a ship and travel somewhere else, they're going to say, come on aboard. We're going to help you go. So after the event, we don't have to stay on this planet. If you're the type that want to go explore, great. They'll take you. So, you're just going to have to get used to a lot of different looking beings.
I've been asking for a while, and I know they've been gathering, from what I heard, for decades. So it's we're in this big cosmic coliseum right now. We have no idea that we're we're out of the playing field of this huge, big event that's happening, that's underway. That's wild.
Yeah, and I had this thought. It was like an aha a few years ago. I don't know if you're young enough. Do you remember when the spiked hair, like a mohawk, and the spike would be 6 inches tall, and they used super glue to hold them in place?
Yeah, in
Did
the
you ever
80s.
see people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, don't sleep with that person. You might not have an eye left.
Yeah, I definitely remember that.
And you've got all these people with tattoos and piercings and different color of hair, different style, and different clothing. This is my thought. They're helping people get used to other beings.
Mm-hmm.
Just some of them look like praying mantis. Go watch the old Star Wars movies. A lot of the beings look like that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've read Dolores Cannon.
Yeah.
And those are great books to help you sort of start getting used to what other beings look like. But in the beginning, they'll have people that look a lot like us.
I have a feeling it's going to be a lot like the Mandela effect, though. It's for some people, they're just going to be like, what? These people have always been around, haven't they? You know?
Well, they have, but we just haven't seen them.
No, but I mean, they're going to remember seeing them. Like the people remember seeing the Rainbow Mountains all this time. Like, no, these are new, man. This is our world changing right before our eyes, and you're not even realizing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and so what I wonder sometimes is, when we saw like Fruit Loops, did we hop into another dimension for a while, and that's how it was felt?
Right.
Don't know.
Yeah.
That's a question for me to ask on Thursday's calls.
Yeah, why don't you ask about the Mandela effect? That'd be interesting to see what kind of response you get to that, because I've been getting a knowing that it's a wake-up call, you know? It's someone outside of our reality doing fun little changes to wake us up, you know?
Right. And just for example, Mary asked about Russia. Why was it dark for 3 days during the daytime? Mm-hmm. And what we were told is to let you know we're here. Things are not the same.
Yeah.
That it's working on getting people out of, oh my God, what's going on? And not to be afraid. It's just everything's shifting, getting ready for the event.
All right.
So, well, how soon does your call end? You started 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I could probably take one more. I do appreciate you calling in, Cynthia.
Okay, so if I send you direct messages on Facebook, would you answer them?
Actually, email is better for me. I don't really get on Facebook other than to leave messages, but I'll send you my email through Messenger because I do have your, and then you can contact me that way because I check that all the time, but I don't really get on Facebook because.
Oh, okay. And do you do MeWe very much?
Yes, I'm on MeWe as well, but it's like Facebook. I don't really get on it too much. It's sort of my way to contact people once they take my channel down at some point. For the things I discuss, it's my way of getting a hold of people, so that's sort of my backup plan. I don't really get on there much because I'm just so busy with research and videos that I don't have time to do the social media thing.
Facebook is going to be gone in the near future.
Right, which is why I recommend everyone go over to MeWe.com.
Right.
Yeah, and I've got my link in the description of this video, so if you're not over there, you can click that link, go sign up. It's free. All you need is an email address. And then when Facebook goes down, you won't lose all of your contacts. I know people are going over there in droves. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm on that one under, I think, Cindy Felger.
Okay.
So I go by Cindy, Cynthia, or Thea. Okay. I just ask not to be called PETA.
Okay.
You know what that means, don't you?
No.
PITA. Pain in the ass.
Oh.
So if you got kids, you could say, quit being a PETA.
I like that.
Okay.
Lots of love and light to you, Cynthia.
You too. Thank you for having your show.
No problem.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. That is, make sure I get her name right, Cynthia Felger, or Cindy Felger, if you are contacting the show in the link above in the chat. And let's see. Thanks again to Cynthia. Near Sedona. Isn't that cool? Yes, I do have time for Ronnie. Were you wanting to call? I saw you left a message earlier. Or were you just wanting any call? This is Shane. Welcome to the broadcast.
Yeah, hi Shane. This is April from Indiana.
Hey, April. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad you've taken my call. And this, after that great conversation, this is like so minute. But you had a gentleman on there the other day, Aaron Baker.
Yeah.
And he was talking about holistic health and whatnot. Well, and I feel that I should share this because I know it to be a fact. Dr. Wayne Dyer, he had mentioned that Dr. Dyer had died of leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not true, and I don't mean it in any negative way. I'm sure, misinformation. But the autopsy proved that he was totally cancer-free, and it was posted for all to see. And that it was heart failure or a heart attack.
Oh, okay. So his intentions did work then. That's great news.
Yeah, and I sent you a screenshot of the information, so you can share it if you want or whatever. But I sent that to you. It should be on Messenger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that. I've got a bunch
of his autopsy. So that was really important to me because he's one of my heroes also, and he actually autographed a book for Sugar Lips. I don't know if you remember me talking about Sugar Lips.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
My grandson. Yeah. So, Sugar Lips has an autographed book by Dr. Wayne Dyer. So I had talked to him several times, and, I know I feel in my heart that he would not want people to think that the intentions did not work because that was his life's work.
Yeah. I totally
And
agree.
okay, and I just want to share that. And I don't mean it in a negative way or, trying to cause division at all.
No, I understand. No, we want the truth. So, and I can
Yeah, I just think
understand
it's,
how they would have, certain people that they don't want that information out, that our intentions do have power, would want to sort of get out ahead of the truth and say, oh yeah, unfortunately he died from this or that, instead of really getting into, just to sort of debunk the whole power of the intention. Yeah, and
yeah,
actually, speaking of um, that show the other night, I had Jamie sent me. I'm copying it right now so I can paste it in the chat. But it was pretty cool. It was called "How Not to Die: The Role of Diet in Preventing, Arresting, and Reversing Our Top 15 Killers," and it comes from the nutritionfacts.org. I'm trying to see. Oh, okay, Dr. Greger. Now he shows some incredible information, statistics on a plant-based diet over eating meat. And
yeah.
it sort of sounded like he was saying that you don't have to quit eating meat, but I think what he was saying is if you quit eating meat, you need to make sure you do it the right way and stay away from soy and stuff like that. But I just pasted that in there because the plant-based diet really has shown to have incredible benefits. So even though I still
Yeah,
eat
that
meat,
makes sense because of all the parasites. And, cancer is just parasites, yeast, fungus, all that good stuff. But,
yeah,
yeah, I just get diet-wise, other than I need to lose a few pounds, and I know it's my hormones.
hmm
And that's a whole other issue. But diet-wise, the Bible says all of our food is sanctified through prayer and thanksgiving.
hmm
And I know you know the Bible. Is that in Timothy or Thessalonians? All of our
it's
food is
definitely
sanctified.
Paul, but I can't remember which book or letter.
I think it's in Thessalonians, the second, but don't quote me on that one. It's in one of the T's.
hmm
I'm a little bit. I haven't read the Bible. I haven't memorized, but I've been back into it lately because of the whole Mandela effect.
Right. Yeah.
And another thing, and that's what I was kind of freaking out about with Dr. Dyer. I thought maybe it was a Mandela effect, but then when I looked up and I just simply typed in Dr. Wayne Dyer's autopsy,
hmm
and the information was right there. So I don't think anything has changed. But that was one of the first things I thought is, oh my gosh, in my timeline, he had no signs of leukemia,
Yeah. You never
and
know
I
these
thought
days.
I thought maybe, something happened there. Another thing is I have a new baby and my 5th grandson today.
Oh, wonderful! Congratulations.
Yeah. But the thing that, and I don't, well, I'm just going to speak from my heart because I'm tired of walking on eggshells, but
Sure.
I don't understand the birthing process nowadays. My daughter-in-law got her labor-induced. She's more than a week early from her due date.
hmm
And that's the thing they do nowadays. They induce your labor. They falsely induced her labor. They even broke her water. And she kind of got to pick the baby's birth date. And it freaks me out. I'm thinking, wow, it just goes against the natural rhythm of God, of what I know at least. And I'm thinking the natural rhythm of everything around us.
Yeah, it's like they didn't
Time.
give her body time to expand and all the things that, if they sort of jumped the gun with it. I totally agree. With my wife, they had to induce because she was, I think, with every one of our kids, she was 2 weeks over, and the babies came out really heavy. I mean, she had one that was 10 pounds,
Yeah.
so it would have been dangerous not to induce. But I think
Yeah, and I get that.
yeah,
I totally get when there's a medical condition or, I thank God for C-sections and
hmm
emergencies. But this is just something that I've decided that I want to have a baby on a Friday, so I can have the weekend kind of thing. And what really doesn't sit well in my heart is thinking about astrology, thinking about our time of birth, our day of birth, and who are we? I mean, I know we're part of God, but are we now, as mothers, going to choose the path of our child? I'm not so much into astrology that I believe we make our own destiny. However, I do know there are traits of
yeah,
the signs, And even in the tabernacle in the Old Testament, and now we know we're the new tabernacle that, we the people of love and light are making up the new heavenly earth.
Mm-hmm.
But, did you know the signs, the astrology signs were on the tent, the tabernacle?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's all right there. You got the 12 signs, 144 feet. You got the 144,000. The New Jerusalem, you can read all about it in Revelation. The Book of Hebrews goes back a lot there. But anyway, I'm rambling on about all that because I think there's a great importance on when a child is born.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like, we're messing with it now.
I agree.
And I wanted your take on that, or for people who are into like shamanic astrology, even the gene key is based on the time of your birth and, and the actual time and the date of your birth. And it's a personality makeup.
Mm-hmm.
It blows me away. It's almost like, okay, so I'm going to decide to have this baby 2 weeks early. And a lot can happen, yourself, in 2 weeks with the baby growing.
Oh, yeah.
Their lungs being developed. You don't know when the actual due date is, but they think they do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Yeah,
I think on that. I think it's messing things up.
I don't think it's messing things up, but I think that's doing something they shouldn't do. I think, I don't know, I'm from the old school where it's like what the devil means for evil, got to turn to good sort of thinking, where things will just end up working out how they're supposed to anyway. But I don't think we should go out of our way to mess with genetics and just the natural law, the order of things. So I'm totally in agreement with you, but I feel like, things will end up working out anyway, I guess. I don't think we should toy with it, but like I wouldn't worry about our child or anything being like, he was supposed to be a life path 9 or something along those lines, you know what I mean? I think he'll be who he was supposed to be, and things will work out. Things will be adjusted in the unseen world to be fine, but we shouldn't, I don't think we should be picking the due dates and stuff like that. Totally.
Yeah, it totally freaks me out, and it's me. And I guess what I go with there is, okay, is this part of the fifth dimension? Is this part of the new way, as a mother's intuition? And I do believe in divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me, exactly what you were saying, was what I felt, and obviously I kept my mouth shut and didn't share this with her or anyone else, like thinking, what's going on, because I've learned, you can cause division or not with something, and the truth divides, but sometimes you don't have to speak it. This is not something that had to be spoken.
Right.
She was going to do this no matter what I thought. But, and I thought the same thing you did, like divine timing. Maybe intuitively this happened because the baby is to be born this day.
Right.
But it still goes against the natural rhythm as I know it, of the earth, of God, but then again, I'm thinking everything's off rhythm right now anyway, so what is the natural rhythm anymore?
Right. And things can be adjusted. We've seen reality change right before our eyes, you know what I mean? So I think that even if somebody tried to mess something up and make the baby come out too early, things would just be adjusted and we'd never know the difference. That's sort of, but I think things are fixed for us and we just don't see it. But I agree with you. We shouldn't mess with the natural order of things. Yeah. Definitely.
And I guess it's common. It's like, to me, it kind of shook me,
mm-hmm.
In my soul. But for everyone else there, it's common.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I walked into, another time zone of like, what in the world is going on?
Right.
What happened to the water, protecting the baby, and, once the mucus plug is broken, then you're prone to infection. No, we're just going to pop it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what is going on?
And what was it? It was her third baby?
No, this is her second baby.
The second one.
This is my fifth grandchild.
Oh, okay. So it's not Sugar Lips older or younger.
Yeah. Sugar Lips is the first.
Okay.
Sugar Lips is the first grandson. Yeah, and by the way, he's doing awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I knew he would be.
But yeah, he's great. But yeah, so that I just wanted to share that. But mainly about Dr. Wayne Dyer, I really wanted, because I know we have a lot of the same listeners, and I just really wanted to clear the air for him that intentions do work. It's proven that it works, and diet and all that stuff too. But the way the gentleman was speaking was, it's proven that your mind cannot do all this. You have to have the physical. Well, that's really not a fact.
Right.
But anywho,
definitely agree with the power of the mind. It's definitely underestimated.
Yeah. Well, the whole ghost stories that you had on here earlier, that was interesting. My take on that, I live with my boyfriend, and at certain meals, the first year I lived here, certain meals that I cooked, his would tease, and be like, your grandpa was here for dinner, because we would smell his sweet tobacco pipe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Chris would smell it too. And I'm like, what is it smell? We're non-smokers,
Yeah.
And I said, gosh, did anyone smoke? And he goes, well, Grandpa did. I'm like, well, he must like what I'm cooking. And it would be something like squirrel, and because Chris hunts, so we had some fried squirrel and sometimes walleye. So it seemed like it was more wild game when he would show up. But he hasn't been around for a while.
Oh, wow. That's wild. Yeah, I've heard of that. Cigarette smoke or pipe smoke or cigar smoke, and just the smell, and you're like, what? That's wild,
You could feel him, yeah. But, I don't believe in ghosts because, and that's funny, I'm aware of that, but I just think it's like a time within a time, and it's like the energy in the house, and maybe it's like a time within a time that we're experiencing, an essence of that being that was left behind somehow, and that and we're tapping into that time because it's just like reincarnation.
Yeah.
If all that's true, then what are we doing hanging out? But are people trapped? I don't know. I don't believe in demons either. I think it's just all in the mind and negative thoughts. We can create them.
I think they're negative thought forms. Yeah. I don't so much believe in demonic entities like other people do. I believe that there's negative thought forms that we actually create, and they're sort of floating around out there. And it's nothing to fear. It's not like it's this race of beings out to get us. That's one perspective to look at it from. But I think there's a different perspective you can look at it from.
Yeah.
They're
but
negligible.
The idea of mind control with the prescription medication and different things like that. Now, that makes sense to me, and I'm talking what makes sense to me, so I know this isn't everyone's truth or even yours, but it makes sense to me, like if you're taking prescription medication or things and taking something physically, that there can be something put into that triggering mind control or, like little, what do they call them, nanobots, and that kind of thing. That makes sense to me because I'm thinking, well, I could see that happening, and then they kind of remotely control certain things that set people off to cause mass shootings and things. Because, in the Bible, when the man had all the demons, I said he had, legions, and he was naked in the cave. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
In the New Testament?
Mm-hmm.
And he's naked in the cave, and he comes up to Christ, to Jesus, and he says, what do you have to do with me? I think Jesus asked him his name. My name is Legion. And he said, why? What do you have to do with me now, like before my time? Like, what are you doing? And, but, he knelt down. And he was still able to ask for healing and help. And Jesus cast those demons, so-called demons, which I just call negative energies and belief systems, out into the pigs, and they ran over the cliff.
Yeah, I love that story.
Yeah, but, he was still able to ask for help and to kneel down. So nothing can take so much control. My take on that is nothing can take so much control of you that you can't ask for help.
I totally agree with that. Even with the technologies you hear, when people go pull off these, I got to be careful how to word it, but just the different things in the news you hear about, and then they're like, these voices in my head told me to do it. It's never like something took over my body and and took control of me, it was always these suggestions that they listened to. They could have ignored them or asked for help, but, did they? I don't know. So, yeah, I think, there's a certain limit to what is allowed, and, it's really up to us. Even when Jesus was tempted, it was just suggestions made. Hey, throw yourself off the mountain and, God will save you. Hey, do this and that. But he had the choice to listen or not listen,
Yeah, I like that. You're right, because it was always about choice. Yeah. Even when they threw them in the fire, remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they had their mind. So they had their mind set. Yeah, their mind was already set, and it was not changing.
Right, and even the guys that threw them in got burned up, but they didn't. So how do you explain that?
I know. And then you see what I love about that is then you get number 4 walking in there with them.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Who is that?
I love Daniel. Daniel's one of my favorite books of the Bible, just because of so many great stories in there that really resonate.
What's your take in the book of Daniel when it says that he was headed somewhere, and he said, "Well, Satan held me up for 21 days, and I wasn't able to come."
That was Archangel Gabriel, right?
Yeah, I was trying to get to you that, but I was held up for 21 days. And the reason I remember 21, because I kind of thought about it, I pondered on it, and I thought it takes 21 days to create a habit, like scientifically. Okay? So if you can break smoking, not smoking, exercising, not exercising, you get what I'm saying, a habit formed, good or bad, takes 21 days to groove it into your brain. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting to me that Satan held him up for 21 days.
Yeah.
I think there's something to that. Maybe we struggle we're struggling for that 21 days to break free and to recreate, a new mindset.
Yeah, I often think that too, because that's a solid 3 weeks. Perfect, So I often thought that with the 21 days too.
Oh, I never even thought of 3. 7 days means complete.
Yeah.
3 is the Holy Trinity, and then you got completion there. So
I didn't even realize the 777 synchronicity. I like finding them like on the back end of stuff. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. But is that your take on that? Because I often wonder how could Satan hold up the angel of God? What? There's got to be something there I'm missing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's always been a mystery, and it's still out there as like a question for me. That I'm right with you on that, because that's been one of those things. And did you know there's a missing chapter in Daniel? I don't know if you've ever read that one. That's pretty interesting.
What?
Yeah, it's available online. I guess I think there's 12 now, but there's like a 13th chapter, and I remember finding it and being so excited, and I read it, and I'm like, I've read this before. I must have got excited before at a different time and found it and read it. But, yeah. It's nothing really like...
timeline.
Yeah, it's nothing really like it doesn't change much. It's just some more, because I love that book so much. There was a really interesting story at how they got to the truth of something. It sort of reminded me of... I love those Encyclopedia Brown books when I was a kid, where there'd be a mystery, and then he'd use logic to solve it, and it was sort of like that for me, that chapter 13.
Yeah, and especially wasn't Daniel the one that read the writing on the wall?
Yep, exactly.
And the finger of, can you imagine that finger of God?
Yeah.
I just love it.
Yeah.
And then especially now that I'm, more open to what the finger of God could be.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And instead of just this finger turns down.
Yeah, that's a funny thought to imagine that. Did you hear about tekel, one of the words that were written on the wall? Because it was like mini tekel something. I can't remember the last word, but it actually changed. There's a Mandela effect with it. That's why I can't really remember it. But there was a word that came through the collider, and it was that word tekel, Tekel. And it means that you've been found wanting. It was the part of it that says you've been weighed in the scale and found wanting. That they got that word back through the collider. Something sent that message to them. And I'm thinking it's like God telling them, and they presented it at the Bilderberg group, and And you know what information they got from that? The message they got from that is, we need to build a bigger collider. It's like, you guys better read the original story that word came from, and then, go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, go back to the drawing board. That's great. Oh, my goodness. Well, do you remember in the book of Revelation, it talks about, I want to say chapter 21. Like I said, I'm a little rusty on where it's at, but I know it's in the book of Revelation towards the end. And it's talking about the New Jerusalem, the holy city coming down. And he's seeing it all, and it's 12 layers, and number 12s are all over the place, 144 in measurement. Well, see, that was just like in the tabernacle, the tent was 144 measurement, like this.
Yeah.
Perfect square footage and all that.
And even 3 gates on each side, which equal 12. And it sounds like a big cube.
I don't know. I'm trying to think about the whole 3 gate. Now, you kind of threw me off there. I'll have to think about that one. That don't seem right to me about 3 gates. But I do know there was the courtyard, the outer courtyard, the inner courtyard, and the Holy of Holies. And the tabernacle. So you're right. So maybe there was a gate on the east, west, and then actually the eastern gate. Was that the opening?
I think, in the tabernacle, I'm not sure. The one about the New Jerusalem, it made it sound like it was a huge square, and there was 3 gates on each side, which 3 times 4 is 12. I just remember it added up to 12. I mean, it might have changed.
12 does sound right, yeah. Well, the Old Testament tabernacle, was a shadow of that to come. But, we are the tabernacle. We're making it the tabernacle. We the people. And the whole number 144 is right there. 144,000 made it, the bride of Christ. But anyways, in there it talks about as the bride. It comes as the bride. Well, that's what it says now. But I always thought it was the bride, which I guess, is there much of a difference? Basically, what I would say, Christians, but now, it's so much more than just Christians, but love and light, the light workers, let's use that word,
right.
Are making up the new city of Jerusalem. But there's also a bride. At one time, I was led to believe the bride and New Jerusalem were as one.
Right. That's how
I don't know if you remember this. Okay, well, reread it now because I think something's changed. Now, it's been a while. The book of Revelation was, of course, the first book I read when I became a Christian.
Yeah.
I think it's the first book everyone reads.
I think there was extra in Revelation, someone said. I just wasn't sure about it when they presented. I'm like, it's like an extra verse at the end or something. And I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I love the part in there. It says, if anyone adds to it or taketh away, their name will be removed out of the Lamb's Book of Life.
Yeah, exactly. Because I thought about that.
That's in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, that's why I said, obviously, whoever's messing around. But that's just for the Book of Revelation.
Yeah,
I don't mean the whole book.
Yeah, and a lot of people think of it that way. They think of, because they don't see I view the Bible as a big library of books and letters, but a lot of people view it as this complete book that God wanted us to have it just as it is. And I don't really have a problem with that, but I don't view it as a book. I view it as a library. So I don't feel like that applied to the whole Bible. It really applied to the book of Revelation. So, yeah. That's wild, though.
Yeah. But it is. But yeah, if you get a chance, Shane, reread that and let me know your thoughts on it, because I do think something has changed in there, and it could that could just be going from memory of studying it, But I do remember that I always thought the bride and New Jerusalem were as one, just different metaphors. But reading it now, it is like a revelation of. There's going to be those who make up the holy city, and then those who make up the bride.
Right.
And that it's deep. It's really deep, because then I'm thinking, the first wave, the second wave,
yeah, definitely.
There may be something to this. And are going to be those part of the bride who are at the great, marriage of the Lamb. Mm-hmm. And then maybe that's those, who believe in Christ, who, Christ is the bridegroom.
Yeah.
And then maybe those who are not believers of that will make up the holy city, which is still it's beautiful. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, because there was something in like 12 that was, I think it's in around 12 where it's talking about the 144,000, and they were like, the ones that weren't, they were blameless, and their clothing was still white and pure, and they were
It used to be washed in the
and,
blood of the Lamb. I don't know if it still has washed in the blood of the Lamb, but it used to be those who were washed in the blood of the Lamb.
Right. And martyred,
remember
I think,
that?
even, wasn't it?
Yeah, martyred with it.
Yeah.
But we think washing the blood of the Lamb is being baptized and being one with Christ. But that's what it used to say, those who were washing the blood of the Lamb. And who had made yourself perfect and holy, and the bride who made herself ready.
Yeah, it must be that way. If it's not, I remember old songs like that. And what's funny is that there's songs, because the Mandela effect affects so many popular scriptures, that you can find like Lion and Lamb old hymns and gospel songs and stuff. And it's like, it's changed, but yet there's old gospel songs that still say the Lion and the Lamb. And there's one about being washed in the blood of the Lamb too, so that's why it kind of brought that.
Well, you remember where it had those who were beheaded and standing before the throne of God. I mean, that's in the Revelation, and I think that's right around the same place where it's talking about being washed in the blood of the Lamb.
Right. A lot of interesting
You remember
stuff.
that, right?
Yeah, I need to go look.
Okay.
I need to go look at that one you're talking about and see if. See what I remember. It's those really small changes like that. And I've come across so many like that while reading in the Bible. There was one like I think it's Isaiah 53, where it sounds like it's predicting Jesus coming, and where we get the by his stripes we're healed. That's changed by, it's just the wording isn't how I remember it. It's not by his stripes we're healed. It's like a little bit different. I'm like, nah. It was by his stripes we're healed. I remember my mom quoting that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I totally remember that.
Oh, Julie, can you post the name of those magnets in here while you're here? Somebody was asking me. I just noticed you hopped in here, and somebody's like, what's the name of those magnets? And I'm like, I don't know. So you're the person that can answer that. Thank you, Julie. So, yeah. It's,
is that the magnets to reboot you? I was talking about the magnets you rub on your head, the Suganite, and are they...
They're like,
I know.
They got like 1,200 Gauss or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's talking about the biomagnetic stuff, that you can get. Like, you get a bed you can lay on.
Oh, okay.
Made up out of it. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's totally different. Yeah, it is. I actually, when I had my herb shop, I had someone come in. That's been out a long time.
Yeah. That's wild. That all this technology. I think a lot of stuff's been suppressed. They just don't. Because they'd rather you take a prescription,
That's so true. Well, anyway, thanks for taking my call, and I'm so glad to clear up Dr. Wayne Dyer. Lots of love to him. I know he's still among us. Actually, there's a new book out that a medium is channeling Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Oh, awesome.
And someone gave it to me. I have one of my sisters in the sisterhood has a radio show, and she's actually an author, and she's probably going to be on Hay House Radio, Kiara Robinson. But she always gives me, she knows I love Matt Kahn. So all the books they send her, she always gives them to me. So I'm so blessed. She goes, I know you'll love this. You'll love this. And I'm like, of course I will. But Dr. Wayne Dyer is being channeled by this lady, and she actually went to his family first, so that's who he wanted to approach first. And she was able to make them believers, because just like the one lady that was on here tonight was saying how she could say, personal things, and then that made him a believer. But it's all interesting what he has to say, and it all still comes back down to love.
Definitely. Yeah. That's
so we're
amazing.
all one. Yeah.
Totally. And that's what they're missing. I was thinking that because I started calling us, I'm like, we need to be called love light workers, because the light is the knowledge, and that's why the Illuminati calls themselves that, because they have the knowledge, but they're not using the love part, So
yeah, in the Bible it talks about, Satan can transfigure himself as the angel of light.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
when you look at the word, now I may have them confused, transform or transfigure, but it's remember it's transfiguration when Jesus went up and
got his light by
then
yeah, that's
and
actually what
Peter,
I mean.
Peter and John was with Jesus, and they witnessed him talking to Elijah and Moses
Exactly.
at the Great Transfiguration, and he came back down and he said, "Oh, let me build your tabernacle and all this," which to me means the old law.
Right.
Let me worship you under the old law, the new law, blah blah blah. But that word transfiguration. Well, and John, where it talks about Satan can transfigure, not transfigure, transpire as the angel of light.
Mm-hmm.
If you look up the word in there, transfiguration is from the inside out, and the one that Satan does, I just can't. I know I'm not thinking of the right word. It's not transfigure, but it's transform. To transform.
Ah, right.
That word
transform.
means that word means from the outside in, so it doesn't last.
Right.
So that's why they always say you can tell if you give it, time will tell. The proof is in the pudding. All that, because time will tell. Time will tell. If somebody truly transfigures into light, they will not change. It will hold true. But if it's a transformation, it can be false. Doesn't mean it always is, but it can be false light, and on the outside it appears that way, but the truth is it's of darkness.
It's funny you said that, because one of the reasons why, because when I'm reading through Paul's books, some of it seems, awesome, like it's from God. Other parts of it, I'm like, man, this is really, women having to keep their head covered. Some of it just seemed like really off the wall. I just saw 33 on the call.
Oh, you know what? That's so true, Shane. I feel the same way.
About Paul? And then you look at all the different churches.
I can tell when it, and there's a scripture that I'm trying to think of it right now because it held true in my heart. And this has been years ago when I was reading it all the time. This is before I even, got the Great Awakening, where, awake sleeper. The Bible even says awake sleeper. Mm-hmm. Hello. But I was reading through there and I thought, oh, that is of the carnal man. That is not a spirit. And I could tell, too, with preachers.
Yeah.
When I was going to church then, I could tell. I'm thinking, oh, that is not, it's not that it's evil, but it came from their law, not God. You could tell the difference between the Spirit of God. I could. When the Spirit of God was up on someone when they were preaching, and then when it was of their own accord.
Yeah.
I could tell. And that's exactly how I have felt many times reading in the Bible. And I don't know if it was always only Paul's letters. I felt it with, all the way through the Bible at times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then
whenever
at first
it's really
I
fear-based.
was wrong. I was going to go to hell because I thought that. And I'm like, oh, God, forgive me.
Right.
For doubting this.
But
that's
right. Funny. The whole inerrancy of the Bible was really started in the 1900s. When I looked at it, they didn't mention anything about the Bible being inerrant before that time. I'm like, what? That's new? It's just we live such short lives, we don't realize, what.
Yeah, well, what about the Dead Sea Scrolls? So, I mean, when they found those, it matched the Septuagint almost word for word.
Right.
And that was what? Was it 15? I mean, I forget when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, but it was like things that were written 1,500 years before that was basically word for word in the Septuagint.
Right. I wasn't really meaning
original writing.
I wasn't really meaning like it had been changed. I was meaning like from the get-go there was problems with it. Is what I'm meaning. Like
oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
you get prophets in church would do this often. It's like they would sound like they would start prophesying. You're like, wow, they really have a nice gift. But then it was like I don't know if they just had to perform, but it's like, man, that just totally didn't seem right there. You know what I mean? It was
you can tell.
Yeah.
Well, the Bible even speaks of the carnal man cannot understand the things of the Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's when you're awakened and you read the Bible and the Word, and now you really have helped me with that. I love it. I have a whole different relationship with Christ, even deeper, stronger, better, because of seeing that as the Word, the living Word, and not the Bible.
Right.
Because I only knew of the God of the Bible. You get what I'm saying? Like, that was that was my box of God and the aha moment I had a few weeks back talking to you. I mean, even though I had put down the Bible and started reading other things because I was growing out of it, but I could never quite put it together. You know, it was like the bridge that I just couldn't get together, you know?
Yeah, it really limits us.
Yeah, and then when you said that, it was like, oh my gosh, Jesus is the living Word. The Word doesn't change. It's the living Word. It's not the Bible. It's the living Word of God. And that just, and I mean, most people are probably like, yeah, I've known that the whole time, but I was so sewn into every word in the Bible, I thought that was the living Word of God.
Totally. Yeah, and it's like you can get beyond that, and then you can really get into a real relationship, you know what I mean? And it's like that kind of holds you back.
It really did hold me back because I didn't agree with it.
Right. Well, back to Paul, just real quick before my wife just called, I've got to pick her up, but I just wanted to mention the fact that Paul, when you like check the history out and you see that he was killing Christians before his experience on the road to Damascus, when he had this experience with what he thought was God, but how do we know that wasn't an angel of light that decided to sort of infiltrate the church from within? Because after that, he you know, had this huge transformation, which was awesome that he wasn't killing Christians and that he seemed to be doing the work of God. But it seemed like there might have been some stuff sort of sewn in there with the good stuff. And when you look at all the different denominations.
I love that you said that because he was blinded.
Yeah.
For 3 days, and then the brother that took him in, what was his name? Starts with an A.
Yeah, Ananias or
yeah, we need to find out
like
what that word means. Ananias.
Yeah.
Ananias that took him in, and then he saved him. But, you know, he was blind. That makes sense. Think about that. He was blinded by the light.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
And it took... What did it take to finally give him the sight back? Ananias came. Oh, wasn't it Ananias or one of the prophets said, God sent me to pray for you that you may see.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been so long.
He didn't get his sight back. It took someone else praying for him to get his sight back, which is very interesting in what you're saying right now.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder.
It's very interesting.
Because most of the churches that, like, when I was going around from denomination to denomination and really looking at why they called themselves something different, like the Presbyterians, for instance, they believed in predestination, and I was like, well, what is that? And I looked into it, and then it would always lead back to Paul, and I'm like, wow, Paul really caused some confusion. You know, they say Satan is the author of confusion, and then when I looked at all these different churches, they were like just interpreting Paul differently. I'm like, oh my gosh, could this have been like an attack?
Yeah, and he says, imitate me.
Yeah.
Wasn't Paul saying, imitate me, for I imitate Christ? But he did tell him to imitate me.
Yeah, and
follow me.
Yeah, and he sounded snobby a lot of times, like, I wish you guys could speak in tongues as much as me. And I'm like, this doesn't sound like a loving, Christianly sort of, you didn't hear Jesus saying stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, it was more of a, you're right. I'm going to really have to think and ponder on that one, as if I didn't have enough already.
Oh, it's fun. That's why I read the Bible so many times. It's like I'd have a little epiphany like that. I'm like, I need to go back and read all of Paul's letters again.
I really do. I really need to study light. And one more thing, and I know you got to pick up your lovely wife, but, you know, when it talks about, Jesus says, you know, my burden, my yoke is easy, my burden is light.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be yoked with me is easy, my burden is light. Well, think about the burden. The burden is something you carry, and it's light, L-I-G-H-T, to be illumination.
Oh, right.
Instead of it wasn't heavy.
Right.
It's really heavy.
Wow.
But if you look it up in the Greek, if you have a what is that Greek dictionary? I know you have one. It's green.
The concordance. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it now.
Concordance, the Greek concordance or something.
Strong's?
Yeah, Strong's.
Right.
Strong's, Greek. Oh, yeah, I have all that. So you look it up. If you look that word up in the Greek, you know how you can have, like, silence is spelled 3 different ways in the Greek language. So, you know, women shall be silent. If you look it up in the Greek language, you can see if it's spelled the same. And then you get the right meaning for that word. Well, silence means be quiet. One means complete silence, like in the dark of the night, and one means like shut up.
Right.
Okay. So, but anyways, the light, if you look it up there, it means illumination.
Oh, wow. Wow,
Yeah.
that's really something to think about then.
Yeah, well, maybe we should all just study the light.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
nice. Yeah, I'm going to definitely look into that again because I didn't realize that. I never. And there's a resource, Bible Hub. If you go in there, you can like look up a verse and then click on interlinear at the top, and
Yeah.
and you can do exactly what you would do with the Strong's. So that's how I've been doing it since I don't have the Strong's
Okay.
concordance, but it's a really
I have
neat
the
feature.
Strongs, and I'm going to dig in there and see if anything's changed in that, because I have that pretty well read also.
Yeah, and it gives you the little Strong's number next to it too on the interlinear.
Ah.
Interlinear,
So it's like the Thompson Chain Study Bible does that. Where
Yeah.
it's connected to the Strong's, and you can look up the number. Okay.
I love it. Yeah, you can hover
better
above
get-
it, and then you can click on it, and then it gives you all the information like the Strong's, where it tells you everywhere that instant of the word appears and all of that good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, try it out. You'll love it.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much. And hi and love to everyone.
Yes.
I'll say light, but I got to research what light means now. So.
Totally. Well, thanks for calling in again, April. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
My pleasure. Yeah. All right. Bye, yeah.
All right. Bye-bye now. Awesome. April from Indiana. All right, you guys, I got to roll out of here. Lots of love and light to each and every one of you. And hopefully you can join tomorrow night for the Power of 8 at 8. Eileen will be back to join us. And I'm looking forward to combining our powers of intention to change the world.